What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another special video. And today, guys, we've been ranking some quarterbacks, or at least I did. We've been ranking running backs, Dante and I, and now we're going to be ranking the top 20 NFL wide receivers by the time the season ends this coming year. So it's not wide receivers as of right now. It's not wide receivers we would take on our team. It's not fantasy rankings. It is by the time the season ends, this is where we think they will rank. Because if you're doing rankings right now, there's going to be certain players over others. But guess what? After the season goes, no one's rankings ever stay correct. The rankings are always wrong when they say these are the top 20 running backs or top 20 receivers coming into the season. That doesn't hold up to true. There's always going to be a guy that breaks out. There's going to be a guy that falls off. And we're going to predict that here today. Dante and I filled out top 25 wide receivers. Initially, we were supposed to do top 25 and then make that into a top 20 for averages. Put it in ChatGPT. It gave us top 25 out of our averages, so we just said screw it. So there's going to be some asterisks with these first five because I have some players on there. Dante doesn't have some players on there, so some are going to be ranked a little weirdly here, but nonetheless, we'll get into it now. Number 25, who we have as a collective group, just us two. We got Devontae Smith. Personally, at number 25, I had a guy in Juwan Jennings, and just for the reason I had him there, he might end up being the number one guy over there. Eventually, he might get traded to another team. It's unknown, but I think he absolutely balled out last year. I mean, I'm expecting him to do pretty damn good, at least top 25 wide receiver in my opinion. But who did you have at 25?
I have Marvin Harrison Jr., 25th. I know he got jacked, gained like 20 pounds of muscle and everything. But at the end of the day, his quarterback's still Kyler. And I think Kyler's a good quarterback, but I think Kyler's also a liability. And he's just a hard dude to trust. So I got Marv 25th for that. Offense isn't great. It's just...
I mean, Trey McBride's his number one target, you would say right now, too. So...
And how many touchdowns did Trey McBride have, by the way, last year?
All right, he didn't score. He only got one. I know he only gave me one in fantasy in like week 16, 17, late.
He scored his last touchdown the last game, his first touchdown the last game of the season.
I was like, he might have got a couple more after that. I didn't remember, but yeah, one touchdown. So
exactly. And
that was his number one target for the most part.
Yep. So that's why I got Marv 25th.
But I will say, I mean, Marvin Harrison did account for 38% of the team's receiving touchdowns, so pretty high. But like you said, not a lot of touchdowns were even really thrown over there in Arizona.
Exactly.
But Devontae at 25, I think he's pretty good. I had him right outside my top 25. It was hard for me to rank this guy, specifically when A.J. Brown's in that room. You got Saquon taking up a lot of the touches during the game, and you're assuming that defense is going to control the game as well for the Eagles. So he's a really good wide receiver. I don't doubt player wise he might be top 25, but this coming year I just don't think he's going to have the accolades or the stats to fulfill the top 25 or top 20 wide receivers. Number 24, we got a guy that, coming off a little bit of injury. Broken ankle that, if you guys know Jordan thinks it's worse than a ACL or whatever it was. I don't think a broken ankle is worse than an ACL. Anyways, we got Chris Godwin at 24. At number 24, I had Jordan Addison. Same thing with the Devontae Smith scenario. You got Jay Jettas there. That's going to take up a lot of the targets, as well as you got a rookie quarterback in his first year starting in J.J. McCarthy. So Jordan Addison's like right there for me. Could have a really good year, could have an average year, just depending on quarterback play, kind of unknown. So that's where I had him.
So Jordan Addison didn't make my list. I like Jordan Addison. He would be one of my honorable mentions. Number 24 for me was Michael Pittman Jr. I love Michael Pittman. I think he's a great receiver. It's just the fact that his quarterback room is such a big question mark. I still think he's going to get his touches, still going to get some touchdowns, but between Daniel Jones and between Anthony Richardson, I just don't know what this year is going to look like for him. I had to put him in the top 25, but I don't have a lot of faith in his numbers this year. So still a top 25 guy, but he's at the end for me.
Number 23, Dante. We have a guy from Ohio State. Looked a little skinny his rookie year, and like you said, he put on some weight, right? We got Marvin Harrison Jr. And like I said, I already said that 38% of the time, or 38% of the receiving touchdowns he got, along with 23% of the receiving yards, just assuming he's going to get better this year.
23, I had Devontae Smith. I love Devontae Smith. Slim Reaper, if you will. I think he's a number one on a good amount of teams in the NFL. It's just that the tush push, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. A lot of firepower on that offense, so it's just hard for him to flourish.
A lot of weapons.
Yeah, I think he's a lot better of a receiver than 23rd, but the offense just doesn't allow him to be.
Number 23, I guess I forgot. I didn't say my guy. I had Jameson Williams at number 23. He's right there.
I wanted to put him in my list.
I mean, you got Amon-Ra that we all know is going to be on this list eventually. You got DeAndre Swift. You're going to have David Montgomery back. You're going to have a good tight end room. You got a lot of weapons on the offensive side. So it does hurt his case a little bit, but he did pop off. I mean, like a 1,000-yard receiver last year, basically. So
got that. You said DeAndre Swift. Got that.
I meant Jahmyr Gibbs. DeAndre Swift. He did play for him. I'm leaving that in there. You know, raw for you guys. No protection out here. Just straight raw, no lube. But yeah, no, I had Jameson. I think he balled out last year. I think he should have another good year. It's just hard to rank, like I said, wide receivers that have a pretty good duo with a lot of weapons on the offensive side. So you kind of just throw him there and maybe he fits there. We'll see. You can take the next one if you want here.
Number 22, we have Cortland Sutton, a guy that didn't make my list. He was actually 24th, then 25th, and then eventually off of my list. But he's here. Derek, you could take this one.
At number 22, I had a guy that honestly similar build, similar kind of type of player as well. But he has a number one in front of him. I had T. Higgins. You'll see, very similar traits between the last three receivers, T. Higgins, Jameson, and Jordan Addison. They all have a pretty damn good number one in front of them. So it's really hard for me to rank these guys where they're going to be or where they should be. T. Higgins, another guy that's basically a 1,000-yard receiver as well. It's hard to put him up there with other number ones on other teams just because they're going to get more targets. We're assuming maybe that the Bengals defense gets better. Shamar might not even play for him. He might go back to college. So that's another conversation for another day. But I have T. Higgins at 22. If he was a number one on another team, I'm putting him top 15. But he's not a number one as of right now.
And number 22, I had a guy that I really like. I have DJ Moore at 22. And the only reason I have DJ Moore at 22 is because of one specific person, Caleb Williams. Next one. I just don't trust him. Okay. Don't trust him.
All right. We'll go back and forth with our final ranks. But I'll actually let you take this one because this is kind of your guy. I don't have this guy ranked on mine. So I'll let you take this one. This is all you.
Wow. I can't believe you didn't have this guy ranked. So our ranking together, we have Stephon Diggs here at 21. I have Stephon Diggs on my list. Apparently, Derek does not. I think Stephon Diggs comes back. ACL tears aren't what they used to be. I think people bounce back from those just fine. I know Jordan has a complete different opinion, but Jordan is also out there.
Now, Jordan thinks they can bounce back from ACLs and Achilles easier than a broken bone.
No, I think they can bounce back from ACLs, okay. Achilles, no. Broken bones, it all depends. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be fine. I think he's in a new offense. I think Drake May is a solid quarterback, and Mike Vrabel's a good coach. So I like Stephon Diggs to have a pretty decent year. I think he'll eclipse 1,000 yards. Yeah,
Stephon, for me, the reason I didn't have him ranked, opposite of you, I think the injury is going to affect him, at least right now in his career. He is a little older now. He's going on a new team. This is going to be the worst quarterback he's played with, right? Drake May.
Yeah.
a fraud Pro Bowler because he shouldn't have made the Pro Bowl to begin with. Same as
fraud.
Mac Jones. I mean, the Pro Bowls just don't count that when you're counting people in all-time lists. Pro Bowls don't mean shit. So I don't trust Drake May. I think the team's going to be all right. Drake May, I just don't think he's the guy, but I might be proven wrong. That's why I don't have Stephon ranked there. But at number 21, you won't like this, but at 21 I had Devontae Adams. And the biggest reason, Devontae is a little older. I agree. I love Devontae. But Puka is going to kind of be the main guy. Matt's been with him for longer, of course.
Guy.
Kyron as well. Going to take a decent amount of the workload as well. So similar as everybody else, you're going to see a couple of guys here all in a row. They're all number 2s when they have really good number 1s. It's hard for me to rank them, so I kind of have them all stacked in one certain area because they could go really anywhere. I got Devontae at 21.
Okay. And number 20, we have a guy that I already mentioned, so I don't need to go on and on about him. We have DJ Moore at 20.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I at 20, we'd already talked about him. He's already on the list. I had Marvin Harrison. He balled out. He's going to ball out, in my opinion, I think. I mean, top 20 isn't that high for Marvin. He's going to be a number 1 over there. So that's who I had at 20.
And at 20, I had the Great White Hope, one of the new Great White Hopes. I had Lat McConkey here. My hot take at the beginning of the season last year was Lat McConkey was going to be this year's Puka Nacua. Pretty close. He had a great year. Jim Harbaugh figured out how to use him. I think Lat McConkey's going to have a decent year this year. Just all depends, man. That offense is a little weird. Jim Harbaugh likes to run the ball a lot. So that's what kind of makes me think Lat might not have that great of a year.
And for DJ Moore at 20, I mean, he could be eventually higher. I'm a believer in Caleb. You're not. I think what's going to help him a lot is having Ben Johnson as the head coach. They did just draft Colston Loveland as well. So what did he love to do in Detroit? Run a 2 tight end set. You get extra blocking. You get 2 pretty good tight ends that can catch the ball in Cole Kmet and Colston Loveland. Along, you got DJ Moore. Then you're going to have Roma Dunze. He's going to have weapons to choose. DeAndre Swift.
And a revamped offensive line, too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a revamped offensive line. Joe Tooney's probably going to be the main guy over there, kind of commanding that line. But I think DJ could be higher, but at the same time, I think this is going to sound weird. I think Caleb's going to be better than DJ Moore as a player next year. So
it's a crowded offense. A lot of names over there. So we'll see what happens.
At number 19 now, we crack out of that top 20. We're crack into the top 20, I guess. At number 19, we got a guy that honestly could be higher eventually. We'll see. He's really the only guy over there right now. There's rumors for other wide receivers to go to his team. It's DK Metcalf at number 19. He's got A-Rod throwing him the ball. What did he do last year? He got Devontae and Garrett Wilson both to 1,000 yards, basically. What can he do with just a DK? Should be able to do a good amount. We'll see. I mean, there's questions with, of course, A-Rod and his age and the Steelers' just offensive ability right now with all their skill players. Not the hottest. So this might be a career target year for DK potentially.
Who did I say for my 21? Because that's where I have DK at. Did I just skip 21? Did I not talk?
I think you talked about DK a little bit. I'm not sure. Well, I'll let you talk about him after I talk about 19 because I had DJ Moore there. We just talked about him. I had DJ at 19. So you can tell your 19 and why you like DK at where you had 21.
So I had DK at 21. I'm going to be honest, dude. I hate DK. Dude, 6'4", runs a 4.3, and he's just not that good. Like, he should be better. He fumbles a lot, fights all the time, kind of a crybaby. Dude's a physical specimen who just doesn't get the job done for his team. I just don't understand it. Not a big DK guy, not a big Aaron Rodgers guy at this point of his career, not a big Steelers guy either. So just call me a hater. That's why DK's at 21. Surprised he even cracked 25 for me. But at 19, I have Chris Godwin. He's a guy in you can call a crowded offense there. 2 running back room, 3 wide receiver room. Baker Mayfield's going to air it out, though, so he's still going to get his touches. Still going to get receptions, still going to get yards. He's coming off injury, but I still think he's going to be that safety net, too. So I got Chris Godwin at 19.
Go ahead. Take us away for 18 now.
So at 18, a guy that had a little further back, Great White Hope, Malik McConkey.
Dude is a baller. I mean, you talked about him already, so you kind of gave your input on Lad. Uh, he's going to be the number one guy for the most part over there. Quentin Johnston had a decent year. He had more touchdowns than Lad, but a lot of people don't like Quentin because he can't catch the ball. But Lad's going to have another year under his belt with Justin Herbert, so just more connection, you're going to assume. More targets, you're going to assume. And they have a better running game as long as Najee Harris's eye is able to see the field. So other than that, I think Lad here at 18 is pretty decent. Could definitely ball out. I mean, he had a pretty good year this year, top 10 in receiving yards. Just didn't have the touchdowns. I mean, Herbo didn't throw too many, but at number 18, I had a guy that's already.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, number 18, we had a guy that's already on the list. I had Cortland Sutton. I just think Bo Nix is just going to ball out. And I think his number one target, of course, is Cortland. Another big 6'4"-ish wide receiver that you could say does the same shit as like a George Pickens, a DK. They just not the greatest route tree, but they get open and they got the big body, big frame to get the ball. So I believe Ville is the other guy over there, the deep threat guy for the Broncos. So that helps Cortland open up the field. I think Cortland's just going to have a really good year because he's going to get a lot of targets. So
at 18, I had Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's been pretty consistent. Last year was the first year he actually had a good quarterback. I think, year two with Jaden, I think Jaden Daniels, I think he takes small step back, sophomore slump. CJ Stroud had one. Let's just say he has one. And then with the addition of, I know a lot of people don't love him, Deebo Samuel, I think it just takes away from him a little bit. So that's why I have Terry McLaurin at 18.
To number 17, a guy that I already named and I already had him placed on my board, but we got T. Higgins at number 17. I did say, if he was a number one somewhere else, probably higher. I mean, he's a really good wide receiver. It's just going to knock him down a couple of notches for me, just for the fact he's not a number one, so he's not going to get the number one targets. Unless the Bengals are absolutely terrible defensively again and Joe Burrow throws for 5,000 yards again. So at number 17, I had DK Metcalf. Like I said, I just think he's the number one guy. I assume he's going to get a lot of targets. Jaylen Warren is the second best offensive player. Jaylen Warren is not a great running back. He's a good running back. He's not a great running back. So DK is going to get a lot of targets, but that means he's going to get a lot of attention on the defensive side. So I had him at 17.
So going to T. Higgins at 17 real quick. Love the guy. Love T. Higgins. Had him in fantasy the last 2 years, and he has delivered. Other than being hurt for a little bit, he's delivered. I expect the Bengals to suck. I expect them to be offensively in a lot of games, but defensively out. So I think he's still going to get his touches, his touchdowns, and Jamar Chase is going to get the attention. I think he's going to reap the benefits. But at the end of the day, most of the receivers ahead of him are just number ones. And that's why he's ranked so far behind for us. But at 17, I have Stephon Diggs. I like Drake May. I think Drake May is good. I like Vrabel. I think Vrabel's a good coach. I think the offense is going to be better. They got a good running back room, decent wide receiver room. So I think Stephon Diggs is going to be in the mix this year. Like I said, 1,000-yard receiver. And that leads us to number 16, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, I mean, 16 for me. I mean, we just talked about him, so I'll get him out of the way. I mean, we talked about him a couple picks ago. I had Lad McConkey at 16. He had 30% of the team's receiving touchdowns. That's still less than Quentin Johnston's, and you're just assuming Lad's going to get more next year than Quentin. He also accounted for 29% of the total receiving yards over there. So I'm just assuming those numbers to go up. And if they do go up, I think that's easily a top 16 wide receiver for me.
At number 16, I had Garrett Wilson. Dude's a dog. I think he's a great receiver. I think he's actually one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. He just hasn't had the luxury of having great quarterback play. He had Aaron Rodgers last year, obviously, but it was a weird situation. And Justin Fields, just hasn't proved himself in the NFL as a thrower of the football. Dude can run his ass off. He can hit intermediate routes, but when it comes to the deep ball, he just struggles. So I like Garrett Wilson, but the team's a question mark as a whole. So that's why I got him at 16.
And at 16, we do have Terry here. Absolutely balled out. No one was expecting him to have the year that he did, especially with a rookie quarterback. There is conversation, I don't know if it's going to happen, of him being, some contract disputes, wanting to get paid. I mean, rightfully so. Look what you just did. Go try to get another payday. So we're assuming that he's going to still stay on the Commanders and still have that connection with Jaden Daniels. So I like Terry at 16, another guy that is a little older as well, so could drop down a little bit more, but we'll see. He's really the only guy there offensively for Jaden. And to go to number 15. Number 15, we have a guy that Jordan hated me because I would glaze him a lot, I guess. We got Davante Adams at number 15, and a guy that is going to share the field with Puka, going to share the field with Kyron, going to share the field with an older Matt Stafford, but we'll see if he's able to still sling it. At number 15 for myself, guy we just mentioned, Terry McLaurin. I mean, 45% of the team's receiving touchdowns. Almost half of the team's receiving touchdowns he has. So that just tells you what Terry was doing. I think he had like 16. So it's a lot.
At number 15, I personally have T. Higgins, top 15 guy. I already spoke about him. Don't need to go too much on. Davante Adams, you guys are going to be surprised where I might have him at. I think Davante Adams is still one of those guys. And Puka next to him, the undoubted number one. Matt Stafford's number one target. He's going to see maybe some double teams, the best receiver. And I think Davante reaps the benefits of that. After Kyron Williams rips off a 15, 20-yard run, maybe a 2-3 touchdown game. Davante comes into play, gets some deep balls, get some intermediate routes and get some long balls. So you'll see where I have Davante. You'll see where I have him. And after Davante, at number 14, we have Garrett Wilson. And at 14, I had JSN, Ohio State's very own, the number one now. And if Sam Darnold looks anything how he looked last year, JSN is going to have a really solid year this year.
I agree. Garrett Wilson at 14, I think that's a pretty fair rating as well. I know you have him lower. He's going to be the number one guy over there. I mean, he did share the field a lot with Davante, so that took up a lot of targets, especially that being Aaron Rodgers' guy. I feel like he's going to have better chemistry than with Garrett Wilson compared to having, Davante there. Davante, once he got there, that's who A-Rod was looking for the most part. He did have that Jordan logo catch. Garrett, shout out to you. Insane. But I think he'll have a pretty good year. He's going to be really the only guy over there. It's going to be him and Breece Hall. Hopefully Justin Fields kind of just steps up and proves that for him. At number 14, a guy that I love, but I feel like he could be lower on my list too. I got Mike Evans at 14. In the beginning of the year, he's still going to be the number one guy for sure. He did have that 1,000-yard streak. There's a little asterisk next to it. He of course he got hurt. He had hammy. He was out a little bit, but it did take him that extra game to get the 1,000 yards. So, there's a little bit of an asterisk, maybe not an asterisk, whatever. But he only accounted for 27% of the receiving touchdowns, and he only accounted for 22% of the receiving yards. And Baker threw a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. So I expect Mike Evans to take a downward spiral from here on out for his career. I mean, he's been in the league for 12 years now, basically. Eventually, time is going to get to him. And I think there's a pretty good rookie over there that's going to take a lot of shine for the Bucs. I think the Bucs are going to be very happy having him as well.
Absolutely. So at 13, we have Mike Evans there as well. At the end of the day, like you said, 1,000-yard streak, still alive. I think he's a good receiver. At the end of the day, though, he's still 13 for me because he's 6'4". He's a big body, and Baker is the epitome of a fuck it, he's down there somewhere. So he is still going to get those long balls, and he's still going to be a red zone threat, and that's still going to make him a top receiver because his numbers are going to be, I don't want to say inflated, but Baker will still find him, and that's what you got to go with for him.
Yeah, he's a Matt Stafford type quarterback.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Number 12, together our average, we have JSN. I already talked about him, so I won't go too crazy. Number 12 for me, I had Drake London. I'm going to be honest. When we did this list, I forgot about him. Don't know how. He was actually, I think, my second pick in fantasy last year, maybe third at the most.
He's your guy.
My guy, I love him. Had a great year this year, and somehow forgot about him. Drake London, I think he's going to have a good year. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be his first year as a day one starter. At the end of the day, John's still there. Darnell Mooney's still there. Kyle Pitts is still there. One of those teams where it's just pretty crowded. So Drake London's seeing double teams and stuff. You can see his numbers kind of decrease, but at the end of the day, I still think he's a top 10, 12 guy. So that's why I got him at 12.
At number 12, you skipped over my 13th pick, but, I'll say that one real quick too. Yeah. Number 13, you had Mike Evans, so that's probably why. We had Mike Evans talk right back.
I thought I thought that's why in the 13 because we both had him.
No, I had Mike at 14. You had Mike at 13. Average was him at 13. Eventually, that's how it added. 13, I had Puka Nacua. People might think I'm high on that one. I think Puka, he was hurt. He didn't play a lot of games, but he did account for the team's 14% of the time receiving yard touchdowns. Only 14% of them. 24% of the receiving yards. Now, Puka's going to be good, right? I'm not high on Matt Stafford coming this year. They got a lot of older players. Yeah, Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams. Those are the two that if they play good, Puka's going to play good. Puka's not going to be able to will them, to wins. Also, I don't trust Puka just being the only guy offensively. We did see it a little bit with Cooper Kupp being out, but Puka, I think 13 is reasonable, especially for the reasons I'm going to have for players above him. So I had Puka at 13. At number 12, the guy that, we have JSN as a group, but I got Garrett Wilson there. Could be lower. I just think he'll ball out being the number one over there. He had 1,000 yards with Devontae also having 1,000 yards. So I'm just assuming he's going to get even more targets. I'm assuming the Jets are going to be behind. They're going to have to pass more. That's kind of what brought me to Garrett Wilson in that top 12 area. So we'll move on now to number 11. Number 11, we got a guy that, if you want to take it, because you got this guy at number 11 as well. I'll let you take it here.
So it's a question mark around this team in general. But we have Brian Thomas Jr. here. The dude had a monster year. And with Trevor Lawrence being hurt, Mac Jones throwing the ball to him, them not really playing for anything, the dude still went crazy. So it's kind of hard to not put him in that top 10 range. And then Travis Hunter's next to him. And we assume he's going to play wide receiver. And I think Travis Hunter will make some people, play him because I think he is a good receiver. But at the end of the day, you just can't deny an LSU receiver. They've all been good. And the dude went crazy. What was he, top 3 in receiving yards? 4?
Top 3, top 4. Dude absolutely balled out, and he was 3rd in receiving yards. So that tells you something. And he averaged 14.7 yards per reception. He had 10 tuds on the year. He only had
83% of their touchdowns.
Yeah, 53% of their touchdowns. That's the most on this entire list. And he only had 87 receptions. He did have 133 targets, but granted, Mac Jones was throwing him the ball. Trevor Lawrence didn't look the greatest, so it's not like he was dropping the ball that many times. So, you have Brian at 11. At 11 for me, right outside the top 10. If we were talking 2 years ago, this guy's definitely in the top 5, in my opinion, because you're just assuming he's going to recreate what he did in his 1,700-yard year. I got Tyreek Hill at number 11. Now, it does scare me. This is what comes into play. You got Jalen Waddle, you got good running backs, and you got a quarterback that is questionable to play for a full season. I mean, Tyreek didn't even have 1,000 yards last year. He played all 17 games. Granted, didn't have the quarterback play that he needed. So I think he has the potential to be easily top 10 and have those insane 200-yard games almost every other game. But I just don't trust Tua yet. Tua's just been on and off the past couple of years. He did lead the league in passing yards the one year. Next year, on and off. So that's the big question mark for me at 11 is Tyreek Hill and his team's performance to put him over the top. So
Okay.
We'll move on to number 10. And number 10, we do have your second pick in fantasy, Drake London at number 10, cracking that top 10. That'll tell you something because you already had him there. So where's Drake for me? A little higher than this. At number 10, I got Nico Collins. Injury scares me. Injuries always scare me because not everyone is able to bounce back from an injury. Now, Nico did still have 35% of the team's receiving touchdowns. That's insane. I mean, granted, CJ threw for 21 touchdowns, so not a crazy amount of touchdowns. But Nico's definitely that guy, as long as he stays healthy for the most part. He did only play 12 games, so that's him missing 5 games. He still balled out 14.8 yards per reception, still 1,000 yards. I think he's easily a top 10.
At number 10, it pained me to put him here, but once you're doing the top 10, it's tough. I have Malik Nabers here. The only reason I have Malik Nabers 10 is because quarterback play. One, I hate Brian Dable. I know a lot of people love him. I don't like Brian Dable. I don't.
Want to play?
I just don't think it's good. Yeah, he did. But the quarterback play is a big question mark. Russell Wilson didn't make the Steelers' offense look good. Jameis Winston did make the Browns' offense look good, but we know Jameis. And then Jackson Dart, I thought they reached for him a little bit too. So I got Malik Nabers 10 just because of the questionable quarterback play in general. And that moves us to number 9 on our list. Number 9 on the list, Puka, the guy you already talked about. My number 9 is Devontae Adams. So it's going to be easy to talk about both 9s for me. First off, if you watch this podcast, I love Puka. It's my guy. It's my guy. My little Pookie bear.
All right.
Puka's a dog. I have no clue why he's 9. We'll get to where he is on my list. Devontae Adams and Puka, I think, are going to be a great duo. Devontae Adams is going to be a number 2 for the first time in his career. I still think he was a number 1 even when he was with the Jets just because Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. Now, can you say Garrett Wilson was the better receiver? Some would argue. But Aaron Rodgers was still the quarterback, so he was the number 1. So he's going to be a number 2 for the first time in his career. With Matt Stafford, even though he's older, he's still going to throw the ball. Sean McVay is still going to air it out. It's Los Angeles. They're going to air the ball out. So I look to Devontae and Puka to have 1,000 yards together easily.
That'll move to my number 9. Who had at number 9? We already have on the list at 12. Jackson Smith. I'm not going to say his last name because it sounds crazy. JSN at number 9. He balled out, I think. I'm making an argument of having Devontae lower. I have an argument of having Puka lower. But I think Devontae is a better receiver than Cooper Kupp right now. So I think Cooper Kupp being on the Seahawks isn't taken away from JSN as much as Devontae on, the Rams with Puka. So
I get it.
I think JSN's still going to get more targets than them. And he kind of proved last year that dude's a baller. And you could say that they got a better quarterback as of right now when it comes to slinging the football, I would say.
Yes.
Taking chances, throwing the ball. Geno only threw for about 21 touchdowns last year, so not a lot. Sam Darnold balled out. I mean, he had pretty good receiving group over there. He's going to have a decent one over here as well. So I expect Jackson to get a lot of targets over there. So we'll move on to number 8. And number 8, I already said his name. We got Nico Collins at number 8. And number 8 for myself, we mentioned him as well. Brian Thomas. So we already talked about Brian Thomas. I think he'll ball out. The numbers speak for himself. What he did last year, 53% of the team's receiving touchdowns. That's an insane stat. So half of the touchdowns were going to him. But for Nico, I think, like I said with him, I think he's going to ball out. I think he'll be good. Just the injury is what scares me. Hopefully, he'll be 100% for the full season.
I'm going to wait to talk about Nico here. I'm going to talk about who I had at number 8, and that's A.J. Brown. Reason I have A.J. Brown at 8, I know a lot of people think he's probably a top 5 or top 6 guy. It's just a crowded room. There's a lot of weapons over there. And A.J. Brown's on the sideline reading books. He's checked out sometimes. It's a lot going on. So I think it's just too easy for his numbers to kind of deflate based off of the amount of weapons and the shenanigans, if you will. Dude's still a dog, but it's just a lot of competition over there. I mean, as you can see, we had his partner at 23, who could probably be a top 15 guy who's a number 1 on a couple different teams. So that's who I had at number 8. You said your 8, right?
I said my 8, so you can talk about Nico all you want.
So I'm going to go to our number 7, which is Tyreek Hill. I'm going to come back to Tyreek Hill. My number 7 was Nico Collins here. Another guy I love. First off, I love 6'4" receivers. Dudes who are big, who can still move. Those are my guys.
How tall are you?
DK sucks. I am 6'4". That's why I like 6'4" guys. Nico Collins is an animal. I was unfamiliar with his game. And he torched the Browns in a way that made me respect him more than a lot of receivers in the league. So I think Nico Collins will cement himself as an easy top 10 receiver this year. I think he'd be a top 5 guy, to be honest. But it just depends on what Texans offense shows up. Now going back to number 7, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek is still going to do his thing this year. I think last year, Tua was out half the year. The offense didn't look good. Mike McDaniels wasn't on his, P's and Q's. Now he's fighting for his job. Tyreek Hill wants to trade. Tua's been hurt. I think Tyreek Hill comes back this year, and he comes back to form and gets that 13, 14, 1,500-yard season again.
At number 7 for myself, we already had this guy ranked, and I think you already had him as well on your list. I believe at number 12, I got Drake London at number 7. And I know, we said a crowded room. Obviously, people are expecting him to be better than what he is, but let me tell you, 43% of the team's receiving touchdowns he got. 43% of the touchdowns was going to him. Receiving, not rushing, just receiving. And he accounted for 30% of passing yards, receiving yards. So he took a big load, on the offensive side with the Atlanta Falcons, with a Kyle Pitts, with a Darnell Mooney, with a Ray McLeod, with a Cordero Hodge. He got a game-winning touchdown. And Bijan. So I think Drake's going to ball out. I think he's going to take, a huge load again.
Huge load.
And he's gonna ball out. So I think Drake's that guy. So
claps for Drake and his big load he's gonna be taking on this year.
Yep, he's gonna take on a huge one. And for Tyreek, I talked about him. Shout out to him. As long as quarterback play stays healthy, I think he could be that top 10. I have him at 11, not too far off. So we'll move on to number 6. We have a guy named Malik Nabers. And I will say I'm going to spoil who I have at number 5. I had Malik at number 5. And
I love that, by the way. Just to interrupt you, I love Malik at number 5. I really do. I think he is a Jamar Chase-esque guy. Quarterback play just kills it for me. But go ahead.
I love you saying quarterback play. You know why? You know who else was, top 5 quarterback at one time with terrible quarterback play on the New York Giants? Odell. Had Eli Manning that could not throw the ball.
He's down there somewhere.
Odell balled the hell out, and I will say, give me Russ right now, give me Jameis right now, and give me a rookie.
Judy was a top 4 receiver, top 5 receiver.
And give me Jackson Dart right now over old-ass Eli, because Eli eventually got kind of benched. Eli was just there. But I have Malik at number 5, 46.6% of the team's receiving touchdowns and 34% of their receiving yards. He's really the only guy still there right now. You got Tyron Tracy that's going to, take care of the running game. But who's their number 2 right now? Wandale still?
Probably Wandale. Yeah. Jalen Hyatt was supposed to be good, but he just
And no offense to
kind of
Wandale, I think he averaged 9.7 yards a reception. That's low as shit. I know it looks like, he gets a first down almost every time. It's not that good. But I think Malik's going to get more targets this year with better quarterback play than he had last year. So, and going on to number 6, who I had at 6, I had A.J. Brown. We kind of talked about it. Crowded room. I mean, if he was a number 1 on any other team for the most part, like the Chiefs, dude has an argument to be number 1 projecting going into next year because of Pat Mahomes and being the main guy over there. But you got Saquon is going to take a lot of the time off the clock throughout the whole game. Their defense is going to stop, so they're going to want to control the ball on the ground. Then you got Devontae Smith as well, being a great receiving threat with Dallas Goedert. We talked about it. I have AJ at 6.
Number 6, I have my guy, the Hawaiian, the Pacific Islander, Puka Nacua. Don't need to talk about him anymore. I've already talked about him enough. Book him for 1,500 yards this season. Yeah, I said it. Book him for 15. So then we're going to move to number 5 on our list, and that is A.J. Brown. I've talked about A.J. Brown already, so I'm just going to go to number 5 on my personal list. I had Tyreek Hill, a guy that I've talked about again. I think he's going to have a bounce-back year. I think people are going to forget that he had back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons, and I think he's going to show people why he was that guy.
And, I mean, I talked about it. My number 5, I had Malik. I mean, he's going to be at 6 for us. I think he's an absolute baller. And some of you guys might think, like, if I have A.J. Brown already listed and he has A.J. Brown already listed, it's the averages per player. So it's going to, take away some of the players. Like, hypothetically, I have Tyreek Hill at 11. You have him at 5. So that drops him lower than an average of us having A.J. Brown at 6 and 8. That's an average of 7. Average of Tyreek Hill 11 and 5 is 8. So that makes Tyreek lower than A.J. Brown. So that's why it looks a little weird as well when we talk about him. So, I mean, A.J. Brown, still a baller. I mean, definitely a top 5 receiver in the NFL without a doubt. But statistically, projecting-wise into next year, he's not going to be needed as a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. So we'll see how it works out. And we'll move on to number 4 here.
Is our top 4 exactly the same, me and you?
We got 2 guys flipped, but yeah, same players.
Okay.
We got the same players here. I guess tied for 3 and 4 here. We'd have tied 3 and 4. We got Amon-Ra and CeeDee Lamb. So who would you put above who, in your opinion? You have CeeDee, I have Amon-Ra.
I have Amon-Ra at 4.
Yeah, and I have CeeDee at 4. I have Amon-Ra at 3. You have CeeDee at 3. So we could put a tie, or we could argue one over the other. I would. The only reason I have Amon-Ra is because offensively we saw what they can do. We saw the quarterback play, what they're gonna be like. We have expectations to where he should be the same. To where I had CeeDee lower than him just for the fact of Dak's coming back. He could have a MVP like he did 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. But George Pickens is also going to be in the picture as well, so that's going to take away from what CeeDee has been doing as well. So either or, it doesn't matter to me. I'll let you choose. Maybe I swayed your mind, maybe I didn't.
I like Amon-Ra at 4, CeeDee at 3.
Okay.
The reason being is I like the Lions a lot. Like Jared Goff. I was always caping for him to be, a top 10 quarterback. I think Amon-Ra is a great receiver. He does everything right. Does everything well, too. The biggest thing about Amon-Ra is I watched Jared Goff throw, I think, 80 yards, and they scored 50 points. So with that being said, is they just don't need him to be a really good team. Now, they use him, but they don't need him to be a good team.
True.
The Dallas Cowboys need CeeDee Lamb to be a good team, and that's the only difference there.
Jalen Tolbert had more touchdowns than CeeDee Lamb last year.
Jet sweeps, trickery, taking, diversions. Yeah, sure. CD still had what, 1,300 yards, 1,400
Yeah, he
yards
balled out. So yeah,
with what was my dude's name? Cooper Rush.
well, Cooper Rush is a dog, bro. What do you mean? He had
Yeah.
he was 6 shy from 1,200 yards.
Okay.
With I mean,
And he was hurt too at the end of the year.
yeah, he played 15 games, so at the end of the year didn't miss. I didn't play the last 2. I don't think. Still had more
Last
targets.
couple games too, he was hurt.
Still had more targets than Amon-Ra.
Well, Cooper Rush was fucking. He's down there somewhere.
Only 11, but I mean, yeah. So not that big.
Which
of a
is
difference.
shocker though. That's a shocker actually.
Yeah. Honestly, you would think CD would have even more, in my opinion.
Yes, being the lone wolf there.
Yeah. So that'll leave those 3 and 4. We talked about CD. We talked about Ra. They're both pretty damn good. We're expecting them to be around the same. Now, guys, I have a feeling this top 5 so far. I mean, you guys are going to know who the next 2 are. This top 5 I feel like is not going to be the top 5 when the season ends. There's going to be a receiver that falls off. There's going to be another receiver that has a resurgence or, comes out of nowhere and enters that top 5. Arguably, this is probably the top 5 receivers going into next year as well, into this year. Probably not going to be the same. We'll see. Same thing with like Tyreek. He was in top 5, and then he fell off. So we got the next 2 guys at the same exact spot. So at number 2, we got a guy that some would say he's the best receiver in the NFL. Some like this guy over his, over the number 1. We got Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson at number 2. And we got Jamar Chase at number 1. Now, I will say my reasoning, a big difference that helps me generally is quarterback play. You're going to have Joe Burrow, although his number 2 in T. Higgins is better than a Jordan Addison. Yep. Quarterback play makes up for that. Along with their defense should probably be worse than the Vikings defense, meaning the offense is going to have to be on the field more and score more points, which helps in Jamar's favor. Obviously, we've seen what he did this year. Accounted for 40% of the team's receiving touchdowns. And 35% of the team's receiving yards. So that's with having T. Higgins. Imagine if T. Higgins wasn't on the team, what those percentages would be.
Yeah, I think these dudes are 1A and 1B. I think they're interchangeable. I think they're just as talented as each other. For the simple fact of I trust Joe Burrow more than I trust J.J. McCarthy. And I think the Vikings have a better defense than the Bengals have than the Bengals defense. So I think the Bengals offense will be on the field a lot more because their defense sucks. So that's more opportunities for Jamar Chase. And he won a Triple Crown last year. And the dude was unstoppable last year. You knew the ball was going to him and he was still going to catch it. And then even with T. Higgins, it makes you respect him a little bit more. So it's hard to double team Jamar Chase. I still think Jamar Chase just ends the season back on top again. It's just it's up on the platter for him too. So that's my 1 and 2 as well.
And to think about it, we talk about LSU and having great wide receivers. Arguably, 4 LSU wide receivers could finish in the top 10 next year.
Yep.
You got Jamar, you got Jettas, you got Malik, you got Brian Thomas. I mean, they all finished in the top 10 this year. They could finish in the top 5 this coming year. It's insane. And I mean, some receivers didn't pan out for LSU. I mean, Terrace Marshall didn't do much, and he was picked in 2021, expected to do something. And then late pick, Kayshon Boutte. I don't know how you say his last name, but the guy for the New England Patriots, he was a 6th-round pick, so not expected those guys to do very much. But it is insane to look at those wide receivers, all from LSU, and where they're at right now in the NFL. Only if DJ Chark would have panned out, could have been 6 of them.
He had a year.
He had 1 year, yeah. But
he did. He had a 1 year.
Looking at it, we'll go to a little bit of honorable mentions outside that top 25, where I'll say a couple here off the top of my head. One, the biggest one for me would be Rashee Rice. He if he's healthy, he's going to be that guy. It's one of those things, that type of injury, you don't know. You really don't know. They can come back perfectly fine. They can come back and have an aggravated, issues for the rest of the season and never really be the same. But if he's healthy, like going into last year, he's easily going to be the top 25 receiver. So I had him. I'm a Browns fan. I wanted Jerry Jeudy, but Dante and I kind of talked about that. Quarterback play plays a big factor in that. Although he's top 4 in receiving yards this year, he had a Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. He's going to get a lot of targets. So if Joe starts the whole season, which I don't think is going to happen, I would put Jeudy up there. But I don't think Joe's going to play majority of the season at all. So I think we're going to have a lot of quarterback issues for most of the season. So those are the two main ones outside the top 25 for me.
So I love your two outside of the top 25, so I'm going to go different just to do it. Zay Flowers is one for me, a guy that I've loved. What did Patrick Peterson call him? A little muskrat or something like that?
Yeah.
Rascal. Crazy like that. Dude's just a dog, but Lamar Jackson spreads the ball around too much for him to really be a factor. And then another guy that I was thinking about that's not a household name. A lot of people will forget about him. Derek actually loves this dude, and he died on a hill arguing him against the Pittsburgh receiver. That's Jacoby Myers, dude. Dude's been super consistent, really good the last 3-4 seasons, and he has a better quarterback now. So I could definitely see him cracking the top 25. I mean, he's outside of it for me, but I can see him being top 25.
Yeah, I like the Jacoby shout. He's going to have Brock Bowers opening up the field a little more for him. Trey Tucker's not the greatest, but, I mean, he's not a terrible wide receiver either, so you still got to account for him.
Yep.
I like Jacoby. He's better than Deontay Johnson that is on our Cleveland Browns team now, so that's cool. Got to argue against the guy on my team now. So, but that's outside the top 25 for me that you didn't have on your list either, basically. So, of course, I didn't have like a Michael Pittman or Stephon Diggs. So I'm not going to mention those guys since we already talked about them. But
right.
Anything before we kick rocks here?
No, I think we got it all. I think we did good. Let us know if our top 25 is bogus. Let us know if we missed anybody, forgot about anybody. Let us know if we were high for having somebody in a spot. Give us your top 25 in the comments if you really feel like typing that much. Probably won't read it, but do it anyway.
I'll read it and I reply. All right, chill. We read it, and we will reply. I don't like this ranking.
Sure.
I think this might be the worst one. I just don't.
It was a tough one. It was the hardest one.
It was tough. I mean, we're projecting for the most part. It's not, who you take right now. I think we'd be pretty similar. We'd have a lot of players higher than others. But that 17 to 25 spot is a lot of who the hell knows. We're going to just throw them wherever. So appreciate you guys watching if you stayed this long. Go follow us on TikTok at I Know Ball Network. We post on there. If you guys want to argue with people on there, people love to argue on TikTok. So that's a great place to argue as well. Follow us on Instagram, I Know Ball Network, and leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, I'm wearing a girl shirt. Don't ask me why. Peace out.
I can damn near see your armpit.
Peace out.